Hello, welcome back. Have you had a nice holiday? It's all a bit of a holiday at the minute, isn't it? But extra relaxing this last week. But now we're back again, first day of the week, so it must be Monday. Monday today, and it's time to get down to some jobs. Now, I've been having fun making jobs for today. I'll tell you about that in a second. Let's just think about the weather, because that's got a lot to do with our jobs today. Hasn't it been lovely? Oh, it's been so lovely. It's been hot. My voice. It's been sunny. My high log. Just beautiful. So you've been playing outside. I bet lots of you have been in paddling pools. Am I right? Well, let me tell you now. We decided to buy a paddling pool for Peppa. Okay, because she loves to go in the river and the canal when she goes out for a walk. So we bought her a paddling pool, and this is what happened when we tried to put her in it. Well, we didn't try to put her in it, we just tried to get her to go in it. We would, come on Peppa, get in the pool. But Peppa didn't want particularly to get in the pool. Peppa got in the pool very quickly and out of the pool very quickly. And that's pretty much what she's done ever since. But still, it's there. So I hope you've had fun in your paddling pools. Now then, I got quite a lot of photos to show you today, so Sam's going to be dodging about a bit with this camera. When I went out in the sunshine yesterday, I saw this. Look at the photo. It was down by my feet. Do you know what that is? I bet you do. It's a shadow. Did you say shadow? It's my shadow. And it was on the floor on my garden when I was walking around. I thought, oh, look, something's following me, and it was my shadow. I got a really big question for you. I'm not going to tell you the answer today either, because this is going to be something to talk about while you're doing your jobs today. Here's my tricky question. What is a shadow? Have a think about that while you're doing your jobs today, because once I'd seen my shadow, I went out to look for some more. So here's some that I saw. Okay, this is just me looking round. I didn't put anything out especially. So the first thing I saw was one of my chairs. Now, Mr. JR was cleaning the patio, and I'll show you a bit more about that in a minute. So all the chairs and things were on the lawn, and this one was making a lovely shadow. So I took a photo of that. And then I've got a little tree in a pot, and that was making some lovely shadows on the fence. That looked fantastic, so I like that. So then I had another walk round, and my car was making a big blobby shadow there, very black shadow, can you see, on the floor? And then a very interesting shape shadow was my clothesline, which I didn't have any washing out on at the time, but it was making really interesting shapes on the floor. And then last of all, there's Mr. JR cleaning the patio with his special water squirting thing. And look at the shape of him on the floor. You can see the shape of Mr. JR and the patio cleaner. So I thought that was interesting. So your first job, actually, job number 1, is going on a shadow hunt, just like I did. Wait till it's sunny, you'll need to do that. Think why. And then go and have a look and see if you can find some really interesting shadows. Perhaps when you go out on your walk or when you're out in the garden, have a look, and you could take some photos if you find a really interesting one. Let me see. So that's your first job, really, going on a shadow hunt. So then I was really interested in shadows then. So I tried to take some things out. So make some shadows with things. So I took some things out. I tried a couple. So the first one's here now, look. I took out a bottle, because that was a bit see-through, a bit transparent. There's a good word on a Monday morning. Transparent, you could see through it a bit. So I wondered what would happen. So have a look at that shadow. Not quite as black. Do you remember the one of the car? That was very dark, wasn't it, that shadow? This one's not quite as dark. And then I took out my beautiful flowers, put them on my lawn, just have a look, see what that would look like. Thank you, Harley. Thank you, Hearn family, for my flowers. I took those out to have a look, and they made a pretty shape. It was like having 2 bunches. So you could try that as well. That's part of your first job really. Shadow hunt, and then try and make some shadows. Okay, so then I called Hope, and Hope, I said, bring me some toys. Well, Hope's 13 now, so she's not got a lot of toys. She's got some, so she brought me a few. She brought me some Sylvanian family people, a rabbit and a dog. And she brought me this, which is an easel, a mini easel from one of her paintings that she's made. It was a good shape, so I was glad about that. And she brought me a little movable figure that she uses when she's doing her drawing. She likes art, my Hope. So she brought those out. Now have a look now at this photo. So what I did was I put some paper out, just a piece of paper, white paper, and I lined up these toys alongside of the paper so that the shadows were falling onto the paper. Look at that. Look at those interesting shapes they made. And they're so clear because the shadows are falling on that white paper. So you could, I think this needs to be job 2. You need to take some of your toys, or one of your toys, or a couple, out and with some paper, and take a pen as well, and put them next to the paper and watch for the shadows. And if you're really careful, you could use your pen to draw around the shadows that they're making onto the paper. And then when you lift the paper up, you'll be able to see the shape really carefully. I've seen that done well with models as well. If you make a model and then put a piece of paper outside so the shadow falls onto it and draw around it, you can keep a really good picture of your model. So that's job 2. Shadow jobs today. Okay, now we also had a bit of fun, me and Grace, making shadow shapes with your body. Use your body to make some shadow shapes. Have a look at Grace. We've got a couple of photos and a couple of videos. So the first thing I asked her to do was balance on one leg, which we know is quite tricky, but it does make a really good shadow. And if you're careful, you can make it look like you've got only one leg, like a pirate with a peg leg, with only one leg. So try that. And then we tried, I said, look like you're running. So she wasn't really running, she was standing still, but she had to try and make her body look like she was running. So that was quite interesting. And then we've got a little video here because this is a moving one. An arm wave, like I don't know what you call it. That's what I call it. An arm wave. Like that. So she did that, as I'm sure you can see. And then last of all, I said, make your shadow jump in the air. So that's what she did. Yeah. So have a go at that. You can try lots of different body shapes. I'm going to put a link on because I did find a nice little site with lots of things on it, but there were some good ideas for making shapes with your body with shadows, and you could try that as well as trying different shapes. Try a game called Copy My Shadow. Now you're going to need to play this with a grown-up or a brother or sister, and you take it in turns to make a shape with your body. So if your grown-up makes a shape, and there's some good ideas on this list, I've got a few, and they make a shape with their body, you've got to look at their shadow and try to copy what they're doing so your shadow looks the same. And that can be quite tricky actually, so that's a good one. So as I say, I'm going to put a link up, some ideas for things to do for that. And I'm also going to put a little link up for hand shadows. My dad used to do this with me when I was a little girl. So it's using your hands in different ways to make different shapes. They were usually animals. I can't remember many of them. But this is a good one to do inside as well if you've got a lamp or a torch. You know, it doesn't matter if the sun's not out or it's a bit nasty outside. You can do these inside, so I'll put a little link up for them. I love those as well because I remember doing that when I was little. So, job 4. Going to keep you busy today. I'm going to tell you something now. Shadows don't stay the same. Okay, that's a bit of a help for this. And I want you to find out about this. And I found out one way to try this, okay? This is another thing I was doing in my garden yesterday. So there's 2 more photos coming up now. So So what you need is a pencil or a stick and a piece of paper. I used just plain white paper. So I took them out, you'll see on the photo, and what I did was I put the paper down on my lawn and I put the pencil through the middle of the paper and into the grass, pushed it into the grass. It was standing up, holding the paper in one place. And then I looked to see where the shadow was, because the pencil sticking through the middle made a shadow. And what I did very carefully with a black pen, I drew a line where the shadow was. So I drew a line. Now if you look very carefully on this picture, you can see my hand. But no, you will see that it's not just a shadow there. I've drawn a black line along where the shadow is. Okay, now I did that in the morning, so I need you to do this on a sunny morning. Okay, so just do that and then leave it there, make sure nobody moves it, and then watch what happens. Okay, if your shadow changes, which I've said it might, because shadows don't stay the same, so if your shadow changes, you might need to draw small lines. But go and have a look a few times in the day, before you have your lunch, in the afternoon, perhaps before you go for your bath, a few times in the day. And if your shadow is changed, draw small lines and we'll see what happens. And I want you to tell me what happens. And here's another big question. When you find out what happens, have a think about why it might be happening. Oh, now we're thinking like scientists. Not just watching what happens. Whoa, we're thinking about why things might happen. Okay, well, that's a big, big question to answer, but have a go. And then last question, last job, 5 jobs. Good job, they're good fun. I would have liked to have read you a story, but I didn't bring it with me. We know we've got it in nursery, I know we have. I know where it is too, but I didn't bring it home. But it is one of our favourites, and luckily there's a really lovely film. So I'm going to put a link up for The Gruffalos Child Story by Julia Donaldson. You know we love Julia Donaldson. And I would like you to watch this story, especially because there's a very important shadow in it. So enjoy the whole story, but have a think about how does the mouse use a shadow. Okay, so that's the story question for you. Got to be watching out for that. Enjoy all the story, but then have a think about how does the mouse use a shadow. So I think that's plenty to be going on with today, isn't it? I've had great fun thinking about these jobs today. If we were in nursery normal, like we normally are, we'd be doing our jobs about the beach and the seaside, and we'd be having a trip to the seaside, but we won't be doing that for a while, will we? Because we've all got to keep safe. It won't be long. But so I've had to think of some new jobs, and I have had great fun with these jobs yesterday, thinking out about what we were going to do. So I hope the sun stays out today so you can do all these jobs. I bet it will. And I'll be back on Wednesday. We've got some more jobs this week. We're going to have a new letter, so we'll start that on Wednesday. And I expect there'll be some other things as well. I'm going to have a big think now about what we can do. So I hope you're all having a lovely time, and I will see you tomorrow. No, I won't see you tomorrow. I'll see you on Wednesday. Big wave now. Come on.